पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वाम् अनुसन्धधामि भगवद् गीते भवद्वेषिणीम् वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं श्रीकृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्. I welcome and greet you all to this discourse on thought purification through Bhagavd Gita. Thoughts are the guiding and governing force in every individual. Thought pollution is the root of all our problems of today. We are facing a great crisis in the external world because of environmental pollution. Air is polluted, water is polluted, the whole atmosphere is getting polluted day by day. And due to all that, we are facing many kinds of health hazards. When I went deep into the cause of all these external pollution, I found that the inner world of every individual, where thoughts are governing and guiding force, the thoughts have become polluted. That means because of that pollution, all the external pollution has come up. Unless we purify the thoughts, we cannot make the external atmosphere or the environment pollution free. Therefore, this talk, this discourse is aimed to see how to purify the thoughts, how to get positive thinking, because thoughts are responsible for all our decisions, activities, behavior, opinions. Unless we have a clear and sanct and pure thinking process inside, we cannot get rid of from our personal problems or the family or the society or the state. Therefore, today we shall see how to purify or how to get into the positive thinking, because everything depends in life how we view the life, how we view the external world, the personalities, the situations, the problems we face. The one approach is positive and the another approach is negative. Today, we have in all aspects of life, we have adopted negative approach. Because of negative approach, we are getting negative results all around. That is, the man is sick, the family is in grief, the relationships are estranged, we have lost the real prosperity, there is no peace. All these problems have come up because the reasoning is not positive. We are habituated of seeing or viewing or looking the things in a negative way in every aspect of life. Let us now see how the thoughts work, how our thinking process, our reasoning process influences our decision-making process. Because whenever the thinking or reasoning is the nature of intellect, that is buddhi, and there the ego resides. I think, it is my thinking, my view, my opinion, my reasoning. This attachment of my or I with the thoughts has made up many problems. We have different thinking processes in every individual. We cannot unite at the thought level because every head has a different set of thinking process, and that should be there because that is the individuality of man. If we do not have the free thinking process, free expression process, then we shall not be called a human being. That is the boon or a gift from nature or God that man has, and that proves the man's individuality or uniqueness of man. Every individual is same at the physical level, all have hands, head, eyes and ears. They have common, we have manas. But what we differ from each other? We differ from each other at the thought level. And why this thinking talent is given to man by nature? To know the truth, to understand the truth, what is right, what is wrong, to discriminate between justice and injustice. For all these knowledge, knowing what is wrong and what is right, what is correct and what is incorrect, what is truth and what is false. Who understands all this? The intellect, the power of reasoning. What we have done now, we are not using our thinking process for knowing the truth, knowing the right, or knowing what is to be done, what is correct. What we have thought that whatever I think, that is right, that is truth, that is correct. That means the attachment of ego with the thoughts. Then what happens? Because every head has different thinking process and different thoughts. Therefore, my thoughts will be different, your will be different, and someone else is different. Then we shall not be, there will not be any meeting point, because thoughts are not truth. Thoughts are not correct. Thoughts are not truth or justice. It is the process, it is the ladder to reach that stage of truth or correctness or justice. What is to be done and what is not to be done. What is to be adopted in life, what is not to be adopted in life. How to decide it. All these decisions are through the reasoning power, power of reasoning. Our reasoning has gone so negative that whatever we think that what I think that is right, what I do that is right, what I say that is right. That means the ego is attached with all these things. Then what happens? There is a big jam inside, intellectual jam. Therefore, there is no flow of communication between man to man, because every individual is jailed, imprisoned in his own thinking process, in his own thoughts. He thinks that his own thinking is correct. There is no meeting point. Actually, what is the reality? The reality is this reasoning power is given to man to know the truth, to understand the truth, to apply the truth, to know the correct things, to take decisions in an impartial way, in a justified way. For all these things, the reasoning power is given. When this reasoning power works in a positive way, when we do not attach our ego with the reasoning, with the thinking, with the thoughts, we understand that these thoughts are only a medium to reach the goal. What is the goal? Goal is to understand the truth, to know the truth, to know the fact, to know the correct, to know the justice, to know what is really to be done, what is justified. To know all these things, reasoning should be applied. But what we have done now, we have thought that whatever I think that is right, that is justified, the real aim is lost, and we have just took hold of the ladder. We are in the ladder, the road itself has become the destination. If the road becomes the destination, naturally there will be a jam. There is no flow of traffic. Like that, at present we are all facing the main root cause of thought pollution is this jam, inner jam. The thinking process has stopped flowing. That is, the Gita says, Vade vade jayate tattva bodha. Vad means the communication, the dialogue between man to man, between communities to communities, between religion to religion. The communication, the dialogue is called Vad. What for this Vad, this communication, this dialogue is? What is the aim of dialogue? Whether it is between two friends, wife or husband, or in the family, or on any topic of social importance, when we discuss, when there is a dialogue, when the exchange of logic, what is the purpose, what is the aim of this exchange of logic or exchange of dialogues? It is to know what is the solution, what is right, what is the cause of problem, how to eradicate that, how to get rid of from the problem. All these are the aim of discussion, aim of dialogue. But what we have done now, we have lost that aim of searching the solution, searching the real remedy. We are imposing our own thoughts on each other. My thoughts are different, your thoughts are different. We both are having a dialogue on particular aspect of life or society or nation. What I say that it is correct, it is my view and my view is right. And you say that your view is right. And both the views are different. There is, we start fighting. There is a logical fight that reaches in bitterness. Therefore, the relationships in whether in the family or in the society or between the communities, why the relationships have come bitter? Because of this aimless discussion in TV channels, in different platforms social. Because of this aimless dialogue, the bitterness has increased between the communities, individuals, family members, everywhere. Towards first step for thought purification, to make the thinking process positive, the parties, the individuals involved in communication, in dialogue, they should understand that they are talking for finding the cause and solution for the problem and not for imposing their own opinions or views on each other. If this is understood, then there will be a free flow of thoughts between individuals, between communities, between members of family and society, and then there will not be intellectual conflict, there will not be a collision. There will, the tradition of, we have a tradition in Indian tradition, we have a tradition of Shastrartha, we call it. That means when there is any difference between the scholars about the meaning of scriptures, they used to sit and have a dialogue which was called Shastrartha. That means they used to sit to understand, to reach a common meaning for the verses of the scriptures where they had differences. In that Shastrartha, the participants did not have that ego problem. What is that ego problem? That attachment of ego with the thoughts. It is my thinking, and my thinking is correct. My solution is correct. My decision is correct. My saying is correct. My doing is correct. How the youth of the day is haunted. Whatever the youth thinks, he thinks that I am correct. What I am doing, I am doing right. What I am speaking, that is all right. What is I behave, that is all right. Because there are three dimensions of human personality. One is thoughts, activities, behavior. These three dimensions make a personality. Positive thinking, that is purified thinking, that is taking the things in a right way, in a positive way. How we are taking the things now, how we are remedying the problems in a negative way. As for example, we have been trying at various levels to eradicate corruption for past many decades. We have been fighting with corruption to remove it from society and state, but we are not successful. Why? We are trying to eradicate poverty for many decades, but we are not able to. Why? Because the whole approach itself is negative. You have to bring honesty. You have to bring richness. If richness comes, if light comes, darkness will vanish. There is no any process of eradicating darkness. Fighting with darkness will not bring light. With any amount of honesty, we fight with darkness. We fight with corruption. The honesty will never come. Unless we try to bring light, the darkness will not go. That is the positive approach. We have to bring richness in society, then poverty will vanish. But instead of that, we are just eradicating, we are trying to remove poverty, and that is expanding its wings. It is not minimized in any way. The nation or state is becoming poor. Few people may be becoming rich. But overall the society is not rich. It is poor because our whole approach itself is negative. The corruption is increasing. In some places it may have come down. But overall when we see, the corruption has not gone. It is there. And it will be there unless we stop fighting with corruption and try to bring honesty, goodness, nobility on the platform, on the working tables. When we bring honesty on the working tables, the corruption will automatically vanish. We need not fight with that. It is like fighting with darkness to bring light. There is no any way to bring light by fighting darkness. Darkness will only go when light comes, and all our efforts, that is the positive effort, should be to bring light in the inner self, in the family, in the society, in the nation, in the state, in the world at large. If light comes, everyone will recognize with each other. Then they will embrace each other. They will not fight with each other. All fighting is in the darkness, in the ignorance, in the negativity. All types of fights is never in light, never in knowledge. It is always in darkness. Therefore, instead of fighting with darkness, instead of fighting with evil forces, let us bring noble forces into the power, into the tables of work. If there is no any scarcity of noble men in this country, in my survey of the whole of the country, I found that the honest people are more in number than dishonest. 80%, 90% of this land are yet honest. They are earning their livelihood by legitimate means. They are not indulged in any kind of corruption. There is very few percentage. What has happened? The whole of the system itself has gone into the hands of corruption. That we have to replace. We have to bring right people, noble people, good people at the right places. Immediately everywhere the corruption will go and right will reign, right will get governed. All this, when it will happen? When we stop just hunting behind corruption, corrupt people, making them into the courts and try to punish them. The jails are not in anymore a place of reform for prisoners. They get more united in the prisons, the criminals. They don't get reformed. Therefore, the main purpose of sending someone to jail was to reform, to make him repent for his crime and to just apologize, to repent, to have from inner being say, excuse me, pardon me, I will not repeat. All these things are not happening. Therefore, what I think, that instead of fighting with evil, instead of fighting with badness, let us bring goodness. The great war of that Kurukshetra, the Mahabharata war, was between evil and noble forces. Kauravas represented noble and Pandavas represented noble forces, evil and noble. And here what is to be very significant to be noted, that Pandavas never wanted to fight with Kauravas. Kauravas imposed fight or war on Pandavas. That means noble men never want to fight with evil. The evil men always come to fight with noble. But now what has happened, the so-called noble men, they are going to fight with evil. When the light will go to fight with darkness, the darkness will swallow the light. If darkness come to fight with light, the darkness will vanish, the light will reign, right will get victory. That means light will get victory and darkness will get defeated. Therefore, I see that in the symbolic war of Mahabharata was between darkness and light. The darkness came to fight with light because army power, commanders' power, and the support of different states at that time, all were in support of Kauravas. Pandavas were militarily weak and nobody predicted their victory. But the result proved that truth and justice may be weak and injustice may be very strong, but if there is a fight between both, the weaker truth will have victory. That is Satyameva Jayate. The truth will always be victorious. That is proved that in that great war. Therefore, the whole positive approach in life, how it should be, how the thought should be purified. Purified thoughts means I should keep up my goodness at all costs, at all levels, in all places. I should not go to fight with evil. Let evil come to fight with me. And the great war has given us that power, inner power, strength, confidence. that any amount of darkness may come to fight with a small lamp, the darkness will get defeat. And darkness will the bad men threaten. They never come near the noble men, they cannot. But what happens in real life, that when the threat of evil men, we get reacted and we go to fight with evil. And as soon as the noble men go to fight with evil, they get defeated. Because they have to enter into the domain of evil. There is a domain of evil and there is a domain of noble. If an evil man comes into the domain of noble, he has to get defeat. That is the decision of nature. And if a noble man goes into the domain of evil, he will get defeat. That is the decision of nature. Therefore, Pandavas on the last moment, they tried to avert the war. But war was inevitable. It could not be stopped. And Arjuna was the last, his proposal or last his effort to stop that war, but he could not. Actually, all the plea, all the logic, all the arguments he praised, how he took the war. The whole war he took in a negative way. How in a negative way he took it? Just see it. Like that we are also taking the things in the life in every aspect in a negative way, as Arjuna did. Arjuna took the whole war as a great sin, killing the masters, gurus and acharyas, kith and kin, all the relatives on both sides, killing them. What for? For the kingdom, for the pleasures, worldly pleasures. This whole fight is going on. And why? What for? The kingdom is not permanent, nor the pleasures are. He was speaking like a knowledgeable man, as a scholar, as a saint he was speaking. Arjuna was viewing the whole, that great war in a negative way. He pleaded that the war is unjustified, it is a criminal act to kill these all our own people. For what? That kingdom and pleasures. The pleasures are not permanent, the kingdom is not permanent. For these all things, to kill these all people is not justified. It is a sin. Aho vata mahat papam kartum vyavasita vayam yadrajya sukhalobhena hantum swajanamudyata yadi mama pratikaram ashastram shastrapanayah dhartarashtrarane hanyo tanme kshemataram bhavet. If, we have come to commit a great sin by killing our own people in the greed of kingdom and pleasures, it would be better if these Kauravas come and kill me instead of I fight with them. Saying so, he came down from the chariot and put up his bow and arrow and said that I will not fight. The war which was being fought for the protection of truth and justice, which was fought for protecting values, the war which was being fought for protecting the fundamental rights of man. What is injustice? To destroy the fundamental rights. That is injustice. What are the fundamental rights of man? The first, freedom of thought, that is freedom of expression. And second, freedom of action, and third, freedom to protect this physical body. Every individual, no constitution need give this freedom. This freedom is given. This individual fundamental rights are given by the divine constitution. Everyone has right to say that his thoughts are correct. But meanwhile, when his thoughts becomes incorrect, when he says that others' thought is incorrect, I have all right to say that what I am speaking is right, but I have no right to say that others' speech is wrong. When I say others' speech is wrong, automatically my speech becomes wrong. That is, everyone has freedom to think his own thoughts, say that I am right, but he has no right to say that anyone is wrong. Everyone may be right. When we reach the rightness through thoughts, then there is no fight, there is unity. Because right or correct or truth is common. Truth is not many. Truth is one. And false or unreal is many. As for example, the bodies are many, but the inherent soul or Atman is one. That is common in all the bodies. Gita says so. Therefore, whenever we get fighting these three fundamental rights, freedom of expression, but we have to understand, freedom of expression means what? Freedom of expression, we have freedom to abuse someone, to humiliate someone, to insult someone. That is not the freedom. Here the freedom means whatever you think, you have all the liberty to express your thinking about any incident, about any situation, about any problem, about any individual. You can speak, but that should also be supported by proper logic, proper arguments. You cannot just say anything what you wish. That should be well supported by well fibered, well woven logic. Then only that will stand. That is Shastrartha, I told you. Shastrartha means it is not that whatever I think, I say that it is all right. It should stand that your thinking is right. Where it should stand? When we communicate with others. There should be propounded on the logical level that what I am thinking, that is right. When it is propounded, then it is accepted by one and all. That should be always one. The truth is always one. When we reach the truth, there is no conflict, there is no fight. Unless we have reached truth, we are fighting. And that fight should be for what? One, we have to understand that there is a struggle, there is a fight, there is a war. It is the phenomenon of the whole nature. Evil and noble forces are fighting for supremacy in the nature, in the human mind also, inside also. But in human life, the whole struggle, below the human life, the whole struggle is for food and safety, physical security. All the animals, birds, they are doing all the struggle for what? For searching the food and for protecting from stronger species animals. But in human life, our struggle is not for food, nor for existence. Our struggle is for protecting truth and justice in life. That means whatever we are doing through our thinking, through our activities, it is for what we are doing it to protect truth and justice. That is the positive approach. When we put our thinking process for protecting truth and justice, then what happens? Then the life has an upward journey. And when we apply the thinking process, our reasoning, in a negative way, the whole our downfall begins, and we come down to animal stage, and again from animal to lower stage, even lower stage, as a beast we become. Therefore the humans have this freedom of thinking and then freedom of action. I am a teacher, I have all rights to teach. No law, nobody can stop me from teaching. That is the liberty, that is the fundamental right. Like that, I have all right to protect my body. If 10 people come to kill me, and if I kill 10 people, all the 10 people according to Gita, it is no sin I am committing. Because I am not killing them, I am protecting myself. And I have all right to protect myself. When that great war took place, the Pandavas has lost their all freedom of expression. They have lost their activities, actions. As a ruler, their kingdom was treacherously on the gambling table. They had lost all their kingdom to Kauravas, and through this great war, the Kauravas wanted to eliminate them physically. That means all these fundamental rights were in danger. At that point, this great war took place. Therefore, my inference says that the great war was for protecting the fundamental rights of every individual. Therefore, that is the positive approach to the war. But what Arjuna did, because he was depressed, he took the whole fight, whole war in a negative way. Like that, we are also like Arjuna, because Sri Krishna was there with him. He showed him that the fight is not for killing these people. The fight is for protecting the fundamental rights. The fight is protecting the truth and justice. Therefore, even if you do not fight, the war is not going to stop. What will happen? Your role as a warrior is lost, and you will have a bad name in history. The people will not say that you became a saint and you forgave everyone and you went to the forest for penance. People will say that you have become a coward and you have put your back in the war, being a warrior. Therefore, Sri Krishna in the second chapter says, Atha chaitmamimam dharmyam sangramam na karishyasi tatah swadharmam kirtincha hitva papam avapsyasi. In the first chapter, Arjuna proved through his logic, arguments, that the war is a great sin. And in the second chapter, Sri Krishna proves that this is being directed by the law. Dharma means law. Dharma means not religion. In some other lecture, I will explain what is dharma. Religion is a sect. Dharma is a law eternal. The law by which whole of this universe is being guided and governed. That is dharma. And swadharma. Swadharma means my dharma, where I am to protect that law. Everyone has come to protect the law, law divine. That law divine is called dharma. So Sri Krishna says, your swadharma you will lose, you will incur sin, and your reputation as a great warrior will be lost, and you will go to hell. When we commit sin, we go to hell. Therefore, Sri Krishna proves that fighting this war is a great opportunity. The gates of heaven is open to you. If you put your back and do not fight, you will break the law, the divine, and you will incur sin. This great war is directed by the law divine. O Arjuna, if you do not take part, if you do not participate, if you do not fight, you will lose your role as a great warrior. you will incur sin and you will lose your reputation as a great warrior. Sri Krishna says, that means he put the reasoning process of Arjuna on the positive track from the negative track. How we view the things outside. There is a positive viewing and there is a negative viewing. Here in this Gita we can very, very clearly see that how Arjuna was viewing the whole war in a negative way and how Sri Krishna just made him to view the war in a different way. Because war is an activity, action. Our actions are also guided by thoughts. The thinking process governs and guides our decisions, our opinions, our views, our actions, our behavior. These 5 points are there. The actions. Action is in the middle. The war was in the middle. The aim of war and the result of war. Every activity has its aim above and the result below. The aim is prefixed and the result comes only after executing the work or doing the work, after the action. What Arjuna did, he just attached his reasoning to the result and he just lost the aim of the war. Sri Krishna what did? He just showed him that the aim of war is to protect the fundamental rights, the truth, the justice, and it is being directed by the law divine. Therefore, when we attach our actions, our reasoning for getting into the aim, then we have a positive thinking. When we attach this to the result, then we become negative. Therefore, what is happening now? What is the root cause of this external pollution? We have become the exploiter of nature. When we attach our activities with the result, we become the exploiter of nature. And when we become the exploiter of nature, the environmental balance is disturbed. And this warming and everything, all kinds of air and water pollutions are the result of this exploitation of nature. What for? For making profits and for comforts. For making money, we are just exploiting the nature, the resources, in an abundant way, in a headless way. Therefore, so much of disbalance, that is because of all reasoning takes place. Our whole thinking process, because this head or reasoning or intellect or buddhi, which we call in our Sanskrit vocabulary, this buddhi always has a greed in itself. Buddhi is greedy always, more and more and more. Whatever it has, it is not, no contentment in buddhi. Buddhi is never contented. It says that more, some more come, more come, more. And that makes the man exploiter. And what is, because of what? Because of this negative approach. Because of all our activities are cut off from the aim and got attached with the result. Therefore, how to make the purification of thinking? The second step is to attach our thinking process when with the activity, actions, with the work, we are getting into the aim or not. What is the aim of my discourse? What is the aim of my discourse? And what is the result of my discourse? The aim of my discourse is to enlighten the audience with the process of thought purification, acquaint them how to make the thinking process positive so that the life becomes worth living with good health with happiness, with prosperity, with peace. We get all this. It is in our own hands. Man is free to act, but slave to experience the result. We are free to act. How this freedom we lose it? When we get attached with the result, we lose the freedom, because result is a slave. Result is not free. It is not in our hands. It is in the hands of God or in the hands of nature. The aim, we are getting into the aim or not. In everywhere we have taken up a negative approach. We send our children to schools and colleges, universities. What for? To make them able and noble. And what is the result? The result is degrees and certificates they get. We have lost the aim. We are not looking how able and how noble they have become. We are just seeing how much degrees they have. The degrees, the papers, not the ability and nobility is being checked. Therefore, what has happened? The aim is lost, and the result is not giving any good soothing, because with a piece of papers, degrees, one cannot get jobs. You should have talent. You should have something, some talent to do some work. If you have that talent, even if you have no certificates, you will get the job. There are many people, in my knowledge, who have no very great certificates, but they are doing great jobs, because they have that talent, that productive talent. If you have developed that productive talent in yourself, then without any degrees also you can get good jobs and you can prove your identity, your purpose of existence. That is when we go into the positive thinking, from the guardians, the parents, the teachers, then they will see that their children, their students get the ability and nobility. Two things: ability to do some good work, productive work, and nobility to get guided by values. When become noble? When he gets guided by values. When our whole thinking process, what is the meaning of purification of thoughts? That purification of thoughts means when we get guided by greed, desire, anger, our whole thinking get guided by vices, then it becomes negative. When whole thinking process, the reasoning, gets governed and guided by noble, that is values, that is mercy, kindness, benevolence, compassion, truth, love, sacrifice, faith, these are all values. If we get our thinking process under the guidance of these values, it becomes positive. When we get guided by greed, it becomes negative. We become the destroyer of nature. We become the exploiter of nature. Therefore, the second step of purification of thinking process or reasoning is to see that our activities are attached or aimed with above the aim goal, not with the result. You cannot be always take stimulation from result. The aim should stimulate you, not the result. The great King Sri Ramchandra, who is God incarnate, he went to forest. Why he went to forest? What was the result of going to forest? The result was the father was dead, mothers became widow, and the whole the then people of Ayodhya were weeping, grieving. No good result came out of that. But he went to forest. Why? To protect the law. What is the law says? That what you speak, that you should act, and what you do, you should speak. That is unity between speech and action. That makes the man valuable. And when there is a gap between speech and action, there is a devaluation. Mother has given the word to father. Sri Rama just thought that I should go to forest for 12 years, 14 years. I should go. That is my duty. Maharaja Dasharatha never said that you go to forest. But duty is not directed by anyone. Duty is to be understood within self. Sri Rama understood what is his duty. That is, means words and action should be united. That is the principle. That is the law. Therefore, man is here, as I told you, to protect the law. The law, protection of law is called justice. Protection of law is called truth. So therefore, in our activities also, we should see that the aim, protection of law is going on or not the result. Many times result may be negative, result may not be positive. But if the aim is positive, if for the sake of principles, if I am facing some negative result, that is all right. Sri Rama did not get any happiness in the forest. He was all around. Many times they did not get food, Lakshmana and Mate Sita. But they all accepted those sufferings. For what? For protecting the principle, the truth and justice. Therefore, I told you the struggle in human life is not for just getting the worldly comforts or the good positions. It is for protecting truth and justice. So, whole of the reasoning process should be applied to see that our activity is to protect the Supreme with the above. For pleasing the God, we are doing all the work. Therefore, Gita is the only sermon in which it is said that for getting into the higher realms of life, metaphysical layers of life, which we call spiritual life, one need not have that prayers a different thing and worldly activity a different thing. Sri Krishna says that all activities are spiritual. Even sweeping is spiritual activity. If one could do it with that spirit of life, noble spirit, evil spirit, two types of spirits, and these spirits are guided by thinking process, thoughts. Therefore, in the end of the second chapter, Sri Krishna says, Nasti buddhirayuktasya nachayuktasya bhavana nacha bhavayatah shantihi ashantasya kutah sukham. O Arjuna, unless the buddhi, the intellect, is yukta. Yukta means attached, united. With what? With the wisdom. When the intellect, when the thought process is attached with wisdom, this buddhi is Arjuna and the wisdom is Sri Krishna. If they both are attached, then all our decisions, all our thinking process becomes positive, becomes noble, and we go on the development level, on the upward journey we start. As soon as this buddhi and viveka is detached, they are ayukta. Ayukta means not attached with viveka. When the buddhi is not attached with, united with viveka, that is wisdom, then what happens? There is no noble spirit. We get into the evil spirit. Durbhava, bhava, that is spirit of life. With what inner stimulation we are doing the work. With noble stimulation we can do the work. With evil stimulation we can do the work. When we do the work with evil stimulation, it becomes a sin. It becomes a crime. And when we do the work with noble stimulation, then it becomes a great noble act which gives not only good health and happiness to self, but to others also. That is called noble spirit. So unless the buddhi, the intellect, is united with viveka, therefore the main aim of education is to get united, every individual, every student's buddhi, intellect with viveka. We have to take decisions as per the guidance of viveka. Viveka means where one is being decided, not many. When our buddhi is not united with viveka, what happens? The buddhi or the intellect goes in many streams in the world. This, that is greed and all that, this also, this also, this also. Many things we want. We fall prey to desires, anger. Therefore, thus viveka is Sri Krishna, and we, in the inner self. When we get attached with inner self, first Sri Krishna says that if it is not attached with viveka, then there is no noble spirit in life. Nacha bhavayatah shantihi. If you are not guided by noble spirit, sadbhava, then what? There is no shanti. And if there is no shanti, there is no sukha. There is no happiness. Because two things are there. Now what is the pity of the whole modern life? That we have in plenty the items of pleasures, enjoyments, comforts, happiness. But what we have lost? We have lost the peace in life. Sri Krishna says that if there is no peace in life, you cannot enjoy any happiness. You cannot feel it. If you have peace, if you have minimum items of happiness, comfort, enjoyments, you can feel, you can realize good happiness. Therefore, peace is primary. What this whole modern life system or the technology has done, that in a hunt for material comforts, in accumulation of material comforts, worldly comforts, we have put the peace at stakes. The state is not in peace, disturbed. The society is disturbed. It is worldwide. It is not in our own country. There is no peace anywhere, the real peace. And then the family, then the individual. From inside it starts. If individual is healthy, the family will be happy. The happy families make the prosperous society, and the prosperous society make a peaceful state or nation. Like that, if there is a peaceful nation or state, then the societies prosper, and prosperous societies make happy families make healthy men. This is the ladder, ascending and descending. So where we have to start? We have to start from individual level. Unless individual is put on a right track, on a positive track, on a positive thinking process, because thoughts are supreme. Thoughts make everything. The life, a fine life, a very bad life. Both is in the hands of thinking process. Therefore, peace, people ask me that why you are putting so much pressure for accepting truth or searching truth or finding truth or living in truth. Why you put? Without truth also the world is going, running. I said yes, it runs without peace, truth also. But towards what? Towards disturbance, lack of peace, ashanti. When we are in asatya, we head towards ashanti. And when we are in satya, truth, we are heading towards peace, shanti. If there is shanti, there is everything. Gita says so. And how we get into the truth in the practical sense? Once I told you there is unity between speech and action. That is the basic principle of Indian life system, that speech and action should not have any gap. If we have spoken something, we are bound to act according to that. If we have acted anywhere, anything wrong also, we have to accept it. What is the fun of the day is, nobody is ready to accept the fault, the mistake, the error. Everyone in all aspects of life, they are putting all the responsibility on others. If something has gone wrong anywhere, everyone will say, not because of him it has gone wrong. He will say, because of him. Nobody is taking the responsibility. Whereas, anything goes wrong in a collective way, everyone has responsible for that in one way or the other. And in the individual life, if something is gone wrong, one has to accept that, oh, I have committed mistake, I have committed error, I have committed sin. I have to repent for that. If I repent for that, I get the pardon, I get the excuse for that, I do not repeat it again. If I understand that I have committed a mistake or error, then I will not repeat it. That is the beauty of that whole repentance. That is we call paschatapa. And when there is a paschatapa for any mistake, error, sin, then there is a prayaschitta also. How to get rid of. If I have stolen something from others, someone, if I came to know that I am doing it wrong, I have done it wrong, it is repentance. And then how to get rid of from that sin? To return that stolen material to the man from whom I have stolen. That is the prayaschitta. That is the process of getting rid of from that sin or from that crime or from that wrongdoing. That is the process. But when we accept it that I have done wrong, then alone it comes up. But nowadays we are not accepting any wrongdoing. We said, I have not done wrong. They hire pleaders, lawyers in the court to prove that they have not done any wrong. They have not committed crimes. Like that. That is even if any court is not punishing me, I will not be let off, because there is a divine court functioning all above, the court of time, the judgment of time, that comes and strikes. Whatever we have done wrong, we have to pay for that. Not in this birth or in the next birth. You cannot give it up. It cannot go. Therefore, one should be very cautious. There are two ways. And now I come to one step of towards speech and action should be united, and then all our activities should be attached with aim, not with the result. Let result come, because result, according to Gita and Sanatana Dharma, the result is in the hands of God, Ishvara. He gives. As I have written the examination paper, I am not giving the result. The examiner is there who puts the marks, who checks the paper. Like that, our actions are like solving the question papers. It goes to Ishvara. The Chitraguptas are there who are taking note of all our actions, external and inner actions. And that is we are writing the question paper. And that goes for examination to the Ishvara. Ishvara just puts the marks, and that is the result comes. Therefore, every action, the result does not come immediately. It takes time. As a seed is sown in the soil, immediately the plant does not come up. It takes time. Like that, all our activities are not immediately give result. They take time to become, because the result comes afterwards. Like that, Gita says that the whole our activities should be attached with the aim, not with the result. This is our thinking process should always see that the action is taking me towards the goal or not. What the result will be, we need not think much about that. We should see that the result should not be harming others. Any action which is giving grief, which is giving any kind of pain to others, is not a good action. Paropakaraya punyaya papaya parapidanam. Vyasji Maharaj said in Puranas that Ashtadasha Puraneshu Vyasasya Vachanadvayam Paropakaraya punyaya papaya parapidanam. What is papa? It was to give pains to others. no activity should be done to give pains to others. If somebody is getting pain by my any activity, that is sin. We should avoid that. We should be always cautious in that with our actions nobody gets any kind of pain or loss or anything. Let I take up the loss, I take up the pain, but nobody should get pain from my speech or my activities or my behavior. This is the second step. The third step which I want to emphasize, which is more important than these two, is the behavioral aspect, how we behave with others. The thoughts are very important here also. When we have good idea about anyone, then we behave in a very humble way, in a very soft way. When we have very bad idea about anyone, we behave very rudely, very harshly. The idea means thoughts. When we have good idea about anyone, your idea may be good or bad. Irrespective of that, there should be a balance in behavior. A human behavior, a polite behavior. You may have differences. You may not like anyone, but the behavior should be quite balanced, quite human. Inhuman behavior, cruel behavior, again you are losing the thoughts, you are getting guided by negative thinking. Because the man you may not like his attitudes, his habits. One may be having some bad habits. Due to that, you are not loving him or you do not like him. But that should not become a stimulant for your bad behavior. Your behavior as a human being, you should give a very polite and human behavior to him. That is when we get guided by noble thoughts, then it becomes, even a thief comes, how saints give a very polite and humble behavior to all, because they do not see the disqualifications or the weaknesses of anyone. They see that, oh, he is a human being, the God resides inside, I should welcome him, I should give him good treatment, I should offer him something like that. That is the positive way of having the right behavior. Next, noble thoughts. There is a Rigveda, a very mantra is there which says, Ano bhadraha kritavo yantu vishvataha. Let noble thoughts come from all sides. Because thoughts are governing, thoughts are guiding everywhere, in every aspect of life. The last step towards thought purification, Gita says, one should not have extremist thinking, extremist activity, extremist behavior, and too much of worldly consumption of pleasures. Yuktahara viharasya, yukta cheshtasya karmasu, yukta swapnavabodhasya, yogo bhavati dukkha. There should be a balanced thinking, reasoning, no extremist. How the thinking process becomes extremist? When we say that what I think, what I say, that is the ultimate truth, that is the only correct. When we get convicted with any set of thoughts, one should be always open. What the Rigveda verse mantra I just chanted, Ano bhadraha ritavo yantu vishvataha. Let noble thoughts come. When that thoughts will come and enter into our head, when our head is open, and when our head is closed, when we get convicted, what that conviction itself is extremism. extremism, that this is only right, this is only correct. Like that, when we give stress to that, because one verse in Upanishad comes that ekam sad vipra bahudha vadanti. The truth is one, but the scholars, the seekers, the saints, the realized souls say it in different ways. Truth is one, but is said in different ways. When we clinch that this is the only way, then we become convicted. That is extremism. That should not be there, Gita says that. One should have, you say, that this is also a ladder going towards truth. There are many ladders, many steps are there, many ways are there. This is also a way. That is balanced. That is the yoga. Yoga means what? Not only physical exercises. The deeper meaning of yoga is to strike a balance in life. What is that balance? No extremist thinking, no extremist activity. Extremist activity means what? Any activity which we do with ego. I have done it, I will do it, I am going. This attachment of I, inflation of ego, that is extremism. Because any activity, if we are successful, many people have cooperated in it. I am giving this discourse. If I say that I have given this discourse, this is life-changing, if I boast, it is not correct, because there are many people cooperating with me. The credit goes to them also. Therefore, what is the extremist activity? When we say that this what I have, this is all I have done it, I am doing it. When we take all the success on our head, that because of me the things are going on like this, I have done it. This is mada, we call it. Kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada. Mada means the super ego, that I am the boss in activities. This is extremist action. Behavior. In behavior, what we do, sometimes we show too much of love towards someone, and sometimes we show too much of hatred towards someone. This is extremist. This should not be there. A balanced, nor you should show too much of love. Too much of love also becomes bitter afterwards, nor too much of hatred. There is nobody to hate other than self, because all the evil is in self. What is the negative approach we are doing at thought level? We are not looking into our own weaknesses, our own evil things in self. We look for all badness in others. That is the negative approach. When a man is worldly man and a man with spiritual background or a seeker, what is the difference between? A seeker, a spiritual man living in the world, always looks into the self weaknesses. What I am adding, where I have something bad in me, how to remove that, he thinks of that. And when we are only worldly, without any spiritual background or any orientation, then what we see? We see the weaknesses of others, the badness of others. And it is to be understood clearly that whenever we see something wrong somewhere, that wrong is in the self. If it is not inside, we cannot see it outside. Many people come to me and say, oh, that man had come, he was drunk. Did you know that? I said, no, I could not find anything like that. But some, what? I am not there. I will not see it anywhere. If I am bad from inside, the badness I will see everywhere. Therefore, a small anecdote is there. With that, I conclude my this lecture. Once, this is in Mahabharata this has come. Duryodhana was asked to search a good man, a noble man, and bring. And Yudhishthira Maharaja was asked to bring a bad man, an evil man, search and bring. Both made a fanatic search all around the world because they were great people. They searched and searched. Yudhishthira did not find any evil man, any bad man. Returned. What happened? Where is evil man? So I did not get any evil man anywhere. When Duryodhana came, he also empty hand. He was asked, where is the noble man? You did not get anyone noble man? No, everywhere all are evil. Then what we are from inside, that we see outside. If we become noble from inside, that is only possible when the thoughts are purified, when thoughts are noble, thoughts are positive. Therefore, this whole my effort is to make at different levels how to make the thinking process in a right way. In wrong also we have to see the right, because right and wrong is mixed with each other. Good and bad is mixed with each other. You can see badness in a good man also. You can see goodness in a bad man also. If you have that vision of seeing it, if we have developed the vision of seeing goodness everywhere, we are going towards divine. If we have developed seeing badness everywhere, we are going towards the downward journey starts. With this I conclude. I thank one and all. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.